Now, Europa League. Stevie, I mean, will we just give you the trophy right now? Atalanta in the quarterfinal, and then Marseille or Benfica in the semi-final. I mean, you're not dropping anything there. You're getting through to the final, surely.
Listen, that's the biggest problem. That's the biggest problem, Liverpool. I think the fact that yeah, and whether you think it's good or not, the fact that Klopp's leaving will mean that Liverpool absolutely 100% wouldn't be complacent anyway. I find it hard to believe that any Liverpool side would get complacent under Klopp. But unfortunately, every other man and his dog, including yourself, is just all of a sudden saying, oh, it's Liverpool's, give it to them, blah, blah. Football doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. Liverpool are still going to have to play. They're still going to have to dominate. They're still going to have to get the run of the rub of the green and get some decisions and take their chances. There's a lot of things that they have to do in order to make sure that that superiority that on paper they look as though they have comes to fruition. And it's not a case of turning up. You've got to do the right things at the right time, have the right attitude. But as I said, I do expect them to be in the final because Klopp's not a guy that will let his players become complacent. And the fact that he is leaving probably should eradicate any thought of being complacent anyway if you're a Liverpool player.
Augie, if we get Liverpool against Bayer Leverkusen, it's going to be in the final, so it would be a 90-minute game, potentially 120-minute game. So we're denied the opportunity to see them home and away. Is that the most likely path for you, that Leverkusen get through and Liverpool are in the final, or certainly with a chance to win it for the first time since they beat Alaves in Dortmund in 2001?
Yeah, I think Liverpool are nailed on for the final. I think we can just, everyone can start booking their hotels in Dublin now. I think most people have them, judging by the
Good luck.
Yeah,
there's none left.
So thanks everybody. The other side of the draw, I don't think we should rule out West Ham, against Leverkusen, because as Steve was saying before, we don't know how strong PSG are. We don't know how strong Leverkusen are because they've had a great season in Germany, no doubt about that, and they're flying ahead of Bayern Munich, but they had it very close against Karabakh in the round of 16. So West Ham have shown in the Premier League that they can be competitive against a lot of teams. So I'm not sure. Everyone's talking about what a great narrative it would be. Xabi Alonso against Jurgen Klopp in the final, potentially before replacing him as Liverpool manager in potentially Klopp's last game. It could be David Moyes, ex-Everton and Man United manager, putting the trophy on the table and denying Jurgen Klopp a farewell in Dublin. So,
Stevie's face has just gone redder and redder at that suggestion.
Well, if we're saying...
Listen, I'm thinking West Ham are the Atletico Madrid of the Europa League.
Yeah, they could.
They'll do exactly that. They'll make it difficult. They'll sit tight. They'll have a good shape. They won't give too much away. They'll try and hit you on the break. I mean, they're the English Atletico Madrid. Let's be honest, when it comes to the Europa League.
Yeah, well, everyone's expecting Jurgen Klopp to face his successor in the final of the Europa League. So if it's David Moyes, then that'll be quite funny as we go forward, wouldn't it? But anyway,
no.
So but listen, I mean, you've got to say Liverpool are the favourites, and I think Leverkusen as well. But I do think Milan and Roma, I wouldn't rule them out as well because they both had good season this year. Roma have got a bit of pedigree, having won the Conference League a couple of years ago. Milan. So it's quite a heavyweight quarter-final in the Europa League. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to stick my neck out and say Liverpool-West Ham final rather than Liverpool-Leverkusen.
In Dublin. Wow. I mean, if you can't get a hotel room now, they'll be camping around the streets of the Aviva Stadium in Dublin. That would be something else. Conference League, by the way, Aston Villa have got LOSC Lille and are 7-4 favourites to win the Conference League. I was looking, Augie, this morning, all three English teams, or these three English teams, Manchester City to win the Champions League, Liverpool to win the Europa League, and Aston Villa to win the Conference League. You think, well, that might be decent odds. No, you don't even get 5-1 for your treble. And it's probably not value that's worth betting. Could it happen? Yes. But there always seems to be that one team that just throw a spanner in the works and upset a favourite. It's going to happen. We just don't know where and which competition yet.
Yeah, I think the most likely team to let that one down is Man City in many ways. I think, obviously, I've said that Arsenal are getting knocked out, but if Arsenal get through to the semis against City, then that is you could imagine Arsenal over two legs maybe beating City. I think it's unlikely, but I think the one team in that bracket you would think, because the competition facing Liverpool and Villa is so far inferior to those two teams on their day that you'd think they would win it. The gap between City and the rest isn't quite as big in the Champions League, but I still for me that's good value. If 5-1 is what they're offering, then that's put a tenner and you win 50 quid back. So just do the maths. It's not bad. It'll pay for your sleeping bag in Dublin.
You're also speaking to two Scots here, so I'm not sure we'd give you a fiver each to make up your tenner. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm sure Stephen would bet.
I know you wouldn't.
Don't you start 10 to 11, by the way, Liverpool. Odds on Liverpool to win the Europa League.